Can you imagine being locked in a cage, deprived of your freedom and dignity? Where violence stalks the corridors and darkness prevails behind bars? This grim reality exists right now for women incarcerated in some of the world's most brutal female prisons. How far would you go to survive the violence and despair in these notorious prisons? Let's begin counting down the 10 most dangerous facilities for women inmates worldwide. Number 10. Bonha Prison, Egypt. Kicking off our list at number 10 is Banha Prison in Cairo, Egypt. Can you imagine being crammed into a tiny cell with dozens of other inmates? At Bonha, around 2,500 women are stuffed into space meant for just 600. Cells overflow with bodies stacked on top of each other. Women have to take turns even sitting down or lying down to sleep. How would you cope in such confined quarters? But it gets worse. Stories seep out describing routine torture by guards. Hygiene standards make garbage dumps seem pristine, with skin diseases spreading unchecked. Visits from family members are near impossible to arrange, severing inmates' last lifelines to hope. What happens when contact with loved ones is taken away? Silence and isolation prevails in this Middle Eastern hellhole. Is solitary confinement a justified punishment or psychological torture? Leaving the crowded chaos of Banha Prison, we travel west to a massive facility warehousing thousands of women. Number 9. Central California Women's Facility, USA, also known as Chowchilla. This institution in California is the largest women's prison in the world. Housing over 3,500 inmates, imagine being warehoused on such a vast scale. Gang violence rages inside Chowchilla's crowded tiers. Prison guards allegedly turn a blind eye, allowing the most ruthless inmates to rule. How would you stay safe with violence lurking around every corner? Weaker prisoners are subjected to physical and sexual abuse. It's survival of the fittest taken to the extreme. With assaults a daily occurrence, the threat of violence looms heavy for the women incarcerated here. Is it ethical for guards to allow abuse between inmates? For women inside Chowchilla, every day brings new dangers in this gladiator-like environment. From the lawless world of Chowchilla, we head to a remote prison haunted by silence and starvation. Number 8. Pul-e-Charkhi Prison, Afghanistan. In the bleak, dusty plains near Kabul lies Afghanistan's largest and most notorious prison, Pul-e-Charkhi. Inside its creaking walls, the women's section is notoriously grim. Starvation stalks the cell blocks, with inmates permanently on the brink of hunger. Can you imagine the pain of constant gnawing emptiness in your stomach? Torture and interrogation are also rampant, sometimes leading to false confessions. What tactics might guards use to extract untrue admissions of guilt? Inmates can languish in total isolation for weeks, even months, as a harsh punishment. Meanwhile, the on-site graveyard keeps expanding, hinting at a shocking mortality rate. What kind of medical neglect allows prisoners to perish unchecked? Departing the desolation of Pul-e-Charkhi, we next visit a teeming facility bursting well beyond capacity. Number 7. Tihar Jail, India. With 17,000 prisoners crammed in, Tihar Jail in New Delhi, India is bursting at the seams. The air is thick with tension as violence rages inside this co-ed facility. Guards are said to accept bribes in exchange for smuggled contraband. When guards are corrupt, who keeps the prisoners safe? Perhaps most shocking, thousands reportedly languish in Tihar without ever being convicted of a crime, trapped in judicially approved limbo. Is it ethical to imprison the not guilty? With such crushing overcrowding and corruption, Tihar has cemented its reputation as one of Asia's most notorious prisons. Our journey continues deep into the Russian wilderness, home to the nation's most notorious prison. Number 6. Black Dolphin Prison, Russia. Deep in the forests of western Russia lies Black Dolphin Prison, the nation's most secure facility, holding the country's most violent female and male criminals. It's Russia's version of Alcatraz. Inmates reportedly must stand blindfolded and hunched when being transferred, a process that takes hours. Imagine the discomfort and disorientation of this experience. They are supposedly not allowed to rest on beds during the day either, ensuring complete submission to the system. What effect does sleep deprivation have on the human psyche? The psychological torment in Black Dolphin is relentless. Next up is a place where deprivation rules and disease runs rampant. Number 5. Bangkok Hilton, Thailand. Cramming over 2,000 women into space for 500, Bangkok Hilton is vastly overcrowded. The air is thick with sweat and heat due to lack of ventilation. Skin diseases run rampant with no hygiene or health care. What happens when sickness is allowed to spread unchecked in such cramped confines? Prisoners are subjected to brutal attitude adjustment programs involving physical and mental abuse. The cruel guards also control access to food, water, and health care. Survival in the Bangkok Hilton requires remaining invisible and hoping to not attract negative attention. Is it right to use deprivation as a weapon against prisoners? From the sweltering Bangkok Hilton, we cross the Pacific to a prison where progressive ideals have collapsed. Number 4. Valley State Prison, California. Once hailed as a pioneering facility, Valley State Prison now lives in infamy. Violence exploded after male inmates were transferred in. Abuse at the hands of guards is common, who exploit female inmates in the chaotic and understaffed facility. When guards become abusers, who can prisoners turn to for help? An inmate black market also apparently exists where favors and contraband are exchanged. Progressive policies lie in tatters amidst the disorder. The women inmates did not choose or expect these conditions when entering Valley State. Does sentencing someone to prison also sentence them to violence if reforms fail? Nearing the top of our list, we travel to a jail known for its unrelenting cruelty. Number 3. Rose M. Singer Center, Rikers Island, New York. Better known as Rosie's, this jail lies within the notoriously violent Rikers Island complex in New York City. Rosie's inmates regularly endure neglect, abuse, and brutality from guards. Mental health care is scarce, leaving the mentally ill to languish. Is it ethical to imprison the mentally ill alongside the general population? Violence between rival gang members is also rampant, earning it the nickname Gladiator School. For female inmates, Rosie's is a daily gauntlet of cruelty, with little chance of redemption. What does it say about our corrections system if prisons have earned nicknames comparing them to ancient bloodsport arenas? In second place lies a prison revealing the darkest extremes of human suffering. Number 2. Alcala Prison, Spain. The aptly named Black Palace of Death. Alcala Prison is notorious for human rights violations in Spain. Deprivation and overcrowding have led to reports of widespread physical abuse, illness, and even death. What happens to human dignity when prisons become overcrowded torture chambers? The lack of mental stimulation for prisoners is considered a form of psychological torture. Alcala has established an infamous reputation as one of the most oppressive prisons in Europe. What conditions lead prisons meant for rehabilitation to descend into notorious hellscapes? Number 1. Taliva, Bruce Prison, Brazil. And now the most dangerous female prison on earth. Taliva, Bruce Prison in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Also known as Pedrinhas Prison, it has been condemned by Amnesty International for its shocking conditions. Violence is rampant, with inmates forming deadly gangs that kill on order. Sexual abuse is common in this largely lawless compound. The guards are accused of taking bets on the death toll. Food, healthcare, and sanitation are inadequate, causing rampant disease. Of all the nightmarish prisons on this list, Pedrinhas is likely the most chaotic and lethal. When the rule of law breaks down completely, what hope remains for prisoners already stripped of basic human rights? There you have it, the disturbing tour of the 10 most dangerous female prisons worldwide. From disease-ridden hellholes to gang-controlled gladiator arenas, these institutions represent some of the worst forms of human rights violations. We've seen how corruption, overcrowding, violence, and cruelty collide behind bars, creating nightmarish conditions for inmates. Women suffer immensely in these notorious prisons, both mentally and physically. The trauma they endure in such dehumanizing environments can last a lifetime. But here is the haunting question. Are these correctional facilities meant to rehabilitate or merely punish without mercy? Should prisoners pay their debt to society or be subjected to new trauma and injustice? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. See you in the next video. Until then, bye.